Alright, so it's been quite a bit since we even had a chance to talk about Sasuke, and that's because Sasuke has been gone for a long time, and a long time for us is about 5 to 6 months, because it's been about 5 to 6 chapters or somewhere around that range since we've actually seen Sasuke in the manga. Now, you might be wondering, where the hell is Sasuke at? I have no idea either, but I do have some ideas for what Sasuke could possibly be doing right now, considering that it seems like Sasuke couldn't have ventured off too far, and I would expect somebody like Sasuke to easily identify that a battle is going on somewhere within the Leaf Village grounds or somewhere outside the Leaf Village, but it seems like Sasuke still has not shown up in time yet. And I'm assuming that these manga events are happening in a mere like 30 minutes in, I guess, Boruto time to say. You got Boruto finally finding Kawaki, and then Boruto fighting Code, and then Boruto reawakening his new Karma Seal form, and then Naruto coming in. And so I guess that's around like maybe like an hour in their time, but you know, Sasuke has not shown up yet, and it's very shocking because I would expect him to have some sort of interference by now. But kind of when I expect him to show up is in this next chapter, chapter 67, and I think that Sasuke by far is going to have one of the biggest roles in this entire arc. Now, Naruto was a little bit disappointing. We still have not seen him fight with Sage Mode without having Kirama, so that's been a little bit of a disappointment, not being able to see his power without Kirama showcased. But you know, I expect Sasuke, when he comes to the picture, to actually display what he can do now without the Rinnegan, which, like I said in a different video, is, you know, Sasuke without the Rinnegan is pretty much almost the same guy, but he just can't really use the Rinnegan abilities and all that good stuff. But yeah, I expect Sasuke to come here very soon because of the death of Boruto, and I think that his interaction with Kawaki is going to be a very interesting one. Now, currently the situation is we got Kawaki, Boruto dead, Naruto's a damsel in distress, and we got Shikamaru and Code over there in the corner. Now, kind of what I can see happening is 2 or 3 things, right? I can see Sasuke possibly trying to kill Code and save Shikamaru and sort of get a sneak attack up on Code and take care of that problem, which might not happen due to Code's reaction time. Or I can either see Sasuke going for Boruto / Kawaki in that general area and addressing that problem first. Now, the issue Sasuke would have is that, you know, Shikamaru is possibly in the way, and Shikamaru is being held hostage, so that's a direct problem for Sasuke. But I know Sasuke operates by different rules, and that he'll probably have some other way to address that issue if he doesn't go to address the Code thing first. But the whole thing with Sasuke and Kawaki is that, as of now, if Sasuke enters the picture, if Kawaki does not cooperate with Sasuke, Kawaki has just turned into the enemy, and Sasuke is going to be forced to put some hands on him, right? So Kawaki, with this Ashiki like powers and the Dojutsu and everything, he's pretty strong, man. I gotta admit it, that, you know, Kawaki's looking very promising, and Sasuke, one way or another, just might have to fight Kawaki in this state. Now, the only way this really happened is that Sasuke and Kawaki have a disagreement on something in that particular scenario, and we know that Kawaki, if it doesn't really align with protecting Naruto, then he's not really for it. So I can definitely see those two having a disagreement, and then, you know, some hands start flying. But, you know, regardless of who won that fight, I had to dive into a deeper video for that. But that's kind of one of the things that I could, you know, potentially see happening there, with Sasuke having to fight Kawaki just because he might be going a little bit mad, or his emotions are a little bit unchecked. But if that doesn't happen, and if Kawaki and Sasuke don't end up exchanging fists, then I can definitely see a situation to where Sasuke is actually very calm, and Sasuke and Boruto, I think, potentially had a prior conversation to this whole thing, to where he had a possible way for Boruto to come back, and that Sasuke is even looped into this whole thing to where that he doesn't believe that Boruto's dead because of prior conversations that the two have already had. And we've seen, you know, before where Sasuke and Boruto were discussing that, hey, if something happens to Boruto, then Sasuke will go ahead and kill him, and they've had these sort of conversations behind Naruto's back, right? Because even though Sasuke is very close to Naruto, there's some things that Sasuke has to do for Naruto that he can't possibly do for himself, such as kill Naruto's son if he can't do it. Things like that, which he would not expect Naruto to do, or he wouldn't expect Naruto to go along with. That's what Sasuke is pretty much for. He's the Shadow Hokage, right? So I actually think that if none of these other scenarios happen to where Sasuke is not thrown off by seeing Boruto dead, then I can definitely see that Sasuke is very calm, and Sasuke already knows that Boruto is going to revive himself some other way and has confidence in his plan. And the reason why I say this is because if we look at the time skip, right, and we look at the very first episode of Boruto's using a sword. And, you know, based on Boruto using a sword, it seems to me that somebody had to teach him how to possibly do that, right? And so far in the manga, there hasn't been any room for Boruto to learn how to use a sword. I mean, he used like the energy sword in the Owl fight, but I'm expecting him in the time skip to be well trained in Kenjutsu. That's basically swordsmanship in the Naruto universe, but be well equipped with Kenjutsu and being able to use, you know, swords properly. And I think that Sasuke is going to be the one that actually teaches him to do that. So that's why I can't really see Sasuke dying before the time skip, because of this exact reason. And think that with the death of Boruto, when Boruto eventually comes back, he'll have to train with Sasuke in order to learn how to use that Kenjutsu and learn a couple of other things. Now, as to why that Sasuke is wearing his cape and stuff and all that, I think that Sasuke could potentially get another injury here, and based on the events that happen in this scenario, Sasuke won't be able to be the same ninja he was before. I don't know what that could be, but something tells me that Sasuke is either going to lose another arm, another leg, or it's going to be something crazy, because Sasuke's been taking L's like at least every 6 months. But kind of what I'm getting at that whole thing is that if Sasuke enters the picture and Sasuke doesn't really have to fight Kawaki or whatnot, then I can definitely see Sasuke being the one to come into the battlefield, potentially take out any problems such as code or whatever, and saying, hey, did the plan work? Is Boruto going to revive himself? But it's only a possibility if that Sasuke was sort of in cahoots with the two and knew about Boruto potentially reviving himself. Now, if that's not true, then we got to go back and talk about Sasuke now in the battlefield, going up against a coked up Kawaki, and will Sasuke actually be able to survive Kawaki's onslaught? Now, that question, of course, would take a lot of thought into it, but, you know, just based on how Sasuke fought Jigen with Naruto, and based on what we've seen Kawashiki do against Boruto, then yeah, I mean, Kawaki's definitely going to give him a lot of trouble just because of just how broken Ashiki's abilities are. And I can definitely see Sasuke having a lot of issues when it comes to fighting Kawaki if he is forced to put his hands on him. And maybe that in this scenario, Sasuke actually ends up getting injured from his interactions with Kawaki, and that's maybe to why in the future he possibly can't fight as well as he would like to be able to, and that, you know, he suffered injuries from this little arc. Kind of my thought process on the whole Sasuke entering the battlefield thing, I kind of bounced off a lot of ideas because I think that Sasuke being introduced could go a lot of different ways and can introduce a little bit of storylines to where it affects future events. But yeah, definitely Sasuke being here would be the perfect opportunity for Code to have everybody that he wants dead in one area, and things will definitely get hectic. But yeah, let me know what you guys think about Sasuke, and what do you think he's going to necessarily do once he enters the battlefield? Do you think that Sasuke is going to potentially fight Kawaki, potentially fight Code? Does he have some sort of plan conjured up with Boruto in the background to where Sasuke is the key to reviving Boruto and has something figured out for him already? Anyways, let me know what you guys think about it. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and join the Discord. And I'll see you guys later. Peace.
Say,